Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special Star Wars edition of Cooking with Nick here on Revenge of the Fifth. Today, I am going to be making some Ronto wraps. Now, Tom originally asked me. He said, "Hey, we need to have some programming on Revenge of the Fifth. I know you're doing a show tonight. We're doing a show tonight talking about Clone Wars and a lot of other stuff." But he said, can you do a Cooking with Nick? And can you make something out of the Star Wars cookbook? And I said, sure. We've made some stuff out of the Galaxy's Edge cookbook before. Great stuff in here. And I was looking through, I was a little bit pressed for time today, too. Have some work duties I have to attend to. So it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, probably. Unless things go horribly wrong and it takes me forever, who the heck knows? That could be possible. So originally I was going to make a couple different recipes, and then I narrowed it down to the quicker of the two. So I'm going to make Ronto wraps. Now, looking at the cookbook here, now one of the issues with the Galaxy's Edge cookbook is a lot of the stuff never showed up in the parks. And then there's variations on what's actually in the park. One of the things I was going to make was the pollution garden spread, which is a black bean hummus, cucumber tomato salad, these little chickpea kind of fried cakes. It looks really delicious. It's something I'd like to try myself, but that would take a little bit longer. And that one's looks pretty similar to stuff we have at the parks. But the Rondo wraps show huge difference. Pulling up the recipe now. So the Rondo wrap in the park, maybe this is going to be the best angle for me to show this way. Yes. Okay. Look, that looks nothing like the Ronto wrap you get in the theme park in Galaxy's Edge. Let me read you the recipe they have in the book. And that sounds good. I haven't tried this one yet, but it's not authentic to the park. So let me read what they have. Vegetable oil, onion, ground pork. Definitely no ground pork in the Ronto wrap in the park. Chorizo sausage casings removed. You're going to kind of ground that up as well. Brown sugar, tomato puree, salt, pepper, pita wrap, basically, and guacamole for serving. This is very much more like a Tex-Mex kind of deal, with the chorizo sausage and the pork and stuff like that. It feels like something I totally get at a Mexican restaurant. Whereas the thing that ended up in the park really, to me, more reminds me of almost like a barbecue outing with their grilled smoked sausage and things like that. So I wanted to recreate what they actually do in the park. So we're not gonna do the recipe today. Maybe someday we do it side by side, but we're not gonna do the recipe today from the book. Instead, we're gonna try to recreate what they do in the parks. So looking at it at the recipe or at the way they name it on the menu, they say roasted pork, grilled pork sausage, peppercorn sauce, tangy slaw, and a pita bread. So we'll take that apart and we'll try to recreate that. Obviously, pita bread, very simple. We're just going to warm up some pita bread, get it in the oven to kind of soften it. The slaw, really, realistically, if you ever really noticed it, it's the sauce that makes this whole thing, but I don't think they really toss the slaw. And I will say there seems to be a little bit of inconsistency even in California and Florida and how they develop the recipe over time. But I think it's really just a dry slaw that they sprinkle on and then kind of mix it with the sauce that they're pouring onto the actual Ronto wrap. So I don't feel, and I may be wrong, maybe they went a little bit, maybe there's some, but it's not like a thick slaw dressing. Let's put it that way. It might just be some oil and vinegar or something like that. So realistically, we just went with, you can shred this yourself, but why should I do that? So we got the bag, shredded cabbage, and carrots. That's really all it is. If you look at the Ronto wrap, that's really all that is. And then we have the roasted pork. So for the roasted pork, there's a couple different choices you could go with. Pork loin or loin tenderloin, sliced really, really thin, and then you you can have it up that way. The way I went kind of with what I had available instead of buying a whole loin. Went with just a thin pork chop, banged it out so that it's really, really thin, and we're gonna kind of pan fry this and put it on our Ronto wrap. Then you get the smoked sausage. Now this is unfortunately, for some reason there seems to be a big run on pork sausages at the store. I don't know. I couldn't find the kind of longer, thin ones that need to be on a Ronto wrap. So I actually went with I had to go with what was in the house. I went to three different stores. Couldn't find them. So they don't seem to exist, at least here around Mount Dora, Florida. So I have to make do with what we have. So unfortunately, we just have hot dogs. So we're gonna have to deal. We're gonna have to deal. When you're in stay-at-home mode, you have to deal with what's out there. But I think the big thing is going to be the sauce. If you get the sauce right, you could really use whatever other kinds of pork and meat that suit your tastes and that you want to use. So I'm going to show you how we came up with the sauce. But first, we're going to get the pork cooking a little bit here so we can get that going. So we're just going to put that in the pan here for a little bit. Get that cooking. Again, any way you can do it if you have a rotisserie at home. I mean, that's really going to be one of the great ways to do it. If you get a tenderloin and do it on a rotisserie, and however you want to cook it. I think the main thing here is to figure out the sauce. And we're going to go over what I think the sauce is. And there's a little bit, people are doing different things on the internet. I kind of looked up with some of the other, copycat recipes we're doing. I know from my taste what I think, is in sauce, and so we're going to go from there. So we'll get this cooking. It's very nice and thin. The thinner you get this, the better off you're going to be, because it's just going to kind of wrap with pita. I'm also going to start warming up the oven at 350. We're going to toss the pita right in there when it's time. Then I'm going to get the oven up to speed as well. And so of course this is a lunch version. For the breakfast version, realistically, you're just cutting out the pork tenderloin and the slaw and replacing that with some egg, put the sausage on top of that, put the same sauce and a little bit of cheddar cheese on top of that. So so we're gonna get that cooking, and now we're gonna go ahead and show you the sauce. So again, saw a few different things out there. One of the they call it a peppercorn sauce. If you look up peppercorn sauce on the internet and recipes for that, you get brown sauces. So, but obviously the one at Galaxy's Edge is a white sauce. And, tasting it, I always thought that it just, I guess because of the smoked meats and everything, and that it always tasted to me like a white barbecue sauce, realistically. And of course with the slaw and everything, I mean, it just reminds me of barbecue. So looking at that, looking up different recipes, I really tried some white barbecue sauces, and there's a lot of different kinds you could kind of go with. This one seems a little bit more tangy and not as super spicy, and at the parks they're not going to use something really spicy for that dish. So you could try whatever you want as far as the white sauce is concerned. I went with a specific recipe here, and I think it gets pretty close to the taste of what we're experiencing at the two. So I'll share that with you right now. So we're going to make the sauce. We're going to start with a half a cup of mayonnaise. Spatula here. Drop that. All right, let's get a clean spatula. Yep. Get our pork cooking here. Very good. This shouldn't take long because of how thin it is. Cut that out. So let's get the mayonnaise first of all into here. All right. Then we're going to go with a 1/4 cup of water. Thin it out a little bit. All right. There you go. Move that up a little bit for you. My famous 3-camera channel. I should have probably put that on the other burner, but you know what pork sizzling on the stove looks like. We're going to go with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. 1, 2. All right. Next up is some lemon juice. We're going to do some freshly squeezed lemon juice here. Let's get this open. All right. Checking this out. Nice and brown, nice and tasty there. We don't need too much lemon juice. We're just going to do a 1/2 lemon here. I'm going to get that in there. All right. And then we're going to go with some prepared horseradish. We need 1/2 teaspoon of this. All right. Prepared horseradish goes in there. Let's give it a little bit of a kick. So this is the recipe I'm using for this is really a combination of a couple different recipes that I found out there. Just trying to get together the taste that I think comes close to what they're offering at Galaxy's Edge. We're going to do a little bit of salt in here. Okay. Then we're going to do a tablespoon of sugar. Let's see how this comes out. We got the fork here. I'm also just going to brown up the hot dog in here too. Why not, right? All right, and then next up is going to be the peppercorn. So I actually, got a pestle and mortar and ground up some peppercorns. This is going to give it that peppercorn taste that that we get at the parks. There's definitely a peppery taste to the sauce. So different white sauces. Some have the peppercorns. Some don't. Some go heavier on the pepper than others. I saw one that did like a couple tablespoons of black pepper, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, but this is a decent amount of peppercorns here. It's gonna give us a nice flavor. I just want to get a nice consistency. I might have to add more mayo here. It looks to be a little too watery. We're gonna get some more mayo in there to thicken that up. Get that. We got a nice. Oh yeah, that's coming along good. We're gonna wrap up the pita. Put it in the oven there. Alright, that's a spoon. Maybe there. I'm gonna thicken this up a little bit. Probably did too much water. Always do that. You should always add less water than you really think you should add. Now we're going to get out of whack a little bit here. A little too runny. Do a little bit more. A little thicker sauce. Taste that. The taste is there. Not as thick as I want it to be. I think I added a little too much water. Definitely have some nice taste. It kind of tastes like what you're gonna get at the parks. Get this off here. I'll put that on there a little too long. All right. Then we're gonna fill up the whole hot dog. Like I said, use what you have. I find it really weird that I don't know, certain things that are out at the grocery stores right now really confuse me at times. Sorry, I was going to go through and make the breakfast wrap for you as well, the breakfast version, just because of time constraints, I really can't, and I apologize for that. But you know, like I said, there's plenty of time for future cookings with Nicks in the future. Here, all right. So we're grilling up the hot dog now. This one tastes really good with a nice, smoked sausage, but I don't have any others. So right now, but yeah, I think as long as you can nail the sauce, I think we're gonna get this right. The taste will be there. So while that's prepping, you know, we'll be back here at 9 o'clock tonight to do our Revenge of the Fifth show. We're going to be discussing the Clone Wars, of course, epic conclusion to the Clone Wars. I thought it was. I won't spoil anything here, but there will be spoilers tonight. So if you haven't watched the last episodes of the Clone Wars, or that finale that was released yesterday, you know, be warned, there will be spoilers, but we're going to be we're going to be talking about that in depth, and I'm excited to talk about that. I mean, that was a heck of a way to wrap up the series, and it was they did a proper end to that. So that's fun. So we're going to be talking about the Clone Wars tonight, and then also we're going to be talking about the top hero and villain moments of the Star Wars franchise. Then focus mainly on the feature films. Discussion might go into the animated and things like that, but for the most part, you know, I kind of came up with a general ranking of things, how I see things, and yeah, I'm going for that wow moment in things. So not necessarily its impact on the overall story or the overall arcs, but that's definitely something to do with it. But like those wow moments in the theaters when, you know, the bad guy does something just really kick butt, or the good guy, you know, shows up and does something that gives you those chills in the theater. And so that's what I'm talking about. So we're gonna rank the top hero moments, and then of course, because it's Revenge of the Fifth, the top villain moments as well. We tuned in yesterday where we ranked the movies. I don't know. All right, well, I say we, but Tom did his rankings, and we all argued with him. I guess, you know, he has his way of thinking about the rankings. So that was interesting. You could see that. probably archived there on YouTube. That was interesting, but everybody brings the movies. Come on. And how much more can you do with that? Unless you're like me and you want to put the, Attack of the Clones at number 2. No one likes that. All right, so getting this nice and brown. I think we're pretty good here. We'll check out our pita in a moment, and then we'll assemble everything. Again, sorry, cutting this episode a little bit short. Had more planned for you guys, but sometimes even in these times, the workday gets in the way a little bit. So I'll be sneaking away right after we taste test this Ronto Wrap. I'm very excited. All right. We'll just rewarm this up a little bit. Get the pita wrap out. Go like that. Put a couple more minutes on that. And then we will assemble. You can see I have the eggs and cheese out. I was going to do that. Maybe another time. I think a fun one would be when I have more time is to do the one from the cookbook and then a more authentic one from the park, especially once we find the actual smoked sausages, and then go from there. Let's assemble this. I'm excited. It's gonna be good. I'm hungry. We had a small breakfast this morning, waiting for my Ronto Wraps. Alright, so we're gonna get that out. Wish we had a full kitchen in the WDWNT studio someday. I'm still trying. That would be super fun if we did. Alright, I'll bring this over here. Again, I think the sauce a little thin, but you know what? I'm gonna go with it there. So you want to definitely warm up the pita so it's a little bit more flexible, doesn't break on you. Okay, so they definitely layer that. Most of the time they're going to then drizzle a sauce here onto the pork, and they're gonna get the sausage in there. And then they're going to go ahead and get the slaw on top of there. Look at that. Slaw. This is a good 4th of July meal right here. Whenever you can just double-decker 2 different meats, right? You got yourself your wonderful barbecue recipe right here. Yeah, the sauce, it's really good on its own. You can definitely use this sauce for a lot of different things, especially if it's thicker, you're going to like it for your barbecue. And there you go. There you go. That right there. Look at that. Kind of a Ronto Wrap. Best as I can do today. Oh yeah. That is a Ronto Wrap. All right. Excuse me. I grab a napkin. All right. Well, there you go. That is a delicious Ronto Wrap. So, again, I'm going to put up the schedule for the rest of the rest of the week here. Thank you for joining me on an episode of Cooking with Nick. We do have some things coming up tonight, including a Revenge of the Fifth show, which I just told you all about. Yeah. Yeah, this is well together. Let me bring it back. Hold on. That is delicious. All these flavors mix really well together. That was actually better than I thought it would come out. All right. Comes off with my mouth full. All right. Coming up tomorrow, we're going to go back out to Tokyo Disney. We have some watch-alongs with the Tokyo Disney. And then Park Center, of course, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Party with Pete, 11 a.m. on Thursday. He's going to have an interview with Chef Art Smith from Homecoming, who could probably make a much better Ronto Wrap than I. I should have Art Smith on Cooking with Nick, right? And then WDW News tonight, Thursday night. Gonna have a lot of fun. And then you can see the rest of the week. I'm excited for that Muppets watch-along. Muppets at Walt Disney World watch-along Friday night at 8. So check it out. Thanks for joining me with Cooking with Nick. Remember to subscribe on our YouTube. And also become a Wigs member. You get special content that everybody else doesn't even get to see. So we got lots of great content we're pushing out to our Wigs, and we appreciate your support as well. Hope to come back to you soon with another longer, more extended version of Cooking with Nick, where we'll do a few more things. But in the meantime, thanks for joining me, and have a fantastic day, everybody. Bye.